No regret, even a little. Hey man, be careful of speaking out loud against corruption. It can go bad. We're trying to get people to move here, so let's not scare them.
It was super tough. I mean, Penelope for the first 3 months would cry herself to sleep every other night, and that was really challenging for a dad to look at and say, what did I do to my daughter? Welcome to the Pursuit of Coconuts, and this has been a journey, and we have been officially here for over 2 years.
Yes, May of 2022.
We survived.
We made 2.5 years, or not 2.5 years, but over 2 years. So we're still here. Our kids are still alive.
And we have not done an update for everybody.
I know.
Privately, we've kind of updated through our social media, and if you've been following that, thank you guys. It's been awesome to see the growth and the participation and the encouragement.
Support.
And the obscene comments that make us laugh.
Yes.
We've got a bunch of questions that people have asked online, commented through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and so we have a compilation of questions. Okay. For those who are watching and don't know us real well yet, Cheryl and I have been married for quite some time. We've got 2 kids, and
a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old.
And so they are full-on teenagers. And we moved across the world in pursuit of, I would say, my dream and calling. Started off with trying to figure things out. We were inspired by coconuts, wanted to get into coconut manufacturing, and we've quickly found out how difficult and how many layers and how inefficient things are, and why the Philippines is the second biggest producer of coconuts, but yet probably 5th or 6th or 7th in distribution around the world, including corruption, including
lack of infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, there's plenty of layers to why.
Yeah. So we launched our YouTube channel after we hung out with some locals for quite some time to learn. And then our YouTube channel has done really well, and we hope that you guys would share, subscribe, and get it even more popular, because we started this off as a social enterprise hoping that everybody would join along.
Hence the YouTube channel, the social platforms. It's really also selfishly, it was a way for us to keep in touch with our friends back home, friends and family, even though we're kind of on the grounds. And I personally haven't been the best friend, the greatest friends, keeping up with everyone in the States, just because the move rocked my world a bit. And so I haven't gotten a chance to really update everyone personally. It's a way for them to kind of at least have a look at our lives here.
Yes, and it was very difficult, probably I would say 5-6 months in.
Yeah.
It was super tough. And we powered through it, and the kids powered through it. And I would say there was a turning point at about the 2-year mark. So we're just turning that 2-year mark last May. And I can say we started seeing a little light at the tunnel, family-wise. Business-wise,
oh yeah,
we have gotten the farm established and things are working well. We're now into a lot of R&D, building out some new spaces, bringing in some investors, and taking the next step. So our team has grown a lot then, and we have lost some good people and gained some good people. So with that being said, we're getting prepared for the next stage, and that next stage is going to be very, what would you say?
You got to give it a word, not me.
I don't even know if I can give it a word. It's probably more of an explanation, or you got to be here to see it. Or
okay, well then let's just get to the question, because maybe that'll help. Yeah. All right. So first one, let's get to this. By a Kim funnier than you, Markley.
Funnier than thou.
Oh, funnier than thou, Markley. No regret, even a little. I'll start with Poland with that.
It depends when you ask me. So yes, there's never any regrets, but you do ask yourself and question, like, why? You gotta remind yourself, then you gotta kind of pray about it and ask each other and look at each other and check in with each other.
Yes.
So I don't live in regret, so it's really hard to say a little regret, but I think there is that little question that you do have to fight against and remind yourself to keep pressing forward.
Yeah, for me, I can say, yeah, no regret. Completely agree with Poland. It's more so like I have reflections of like, man, I took a lot of things for granted when I had it a little easier. I guess I should say that's probably my only regret, is the fact that I did take a lot of things for granted when I had it at the palm of my hand. So, okay, what role does faith play in your endeavor, and how have your experiences with this calling influenced your understanding of faith, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit? And then we'll stick to, he has a separate question about aquaponic. So,
Faith played a major role.
huge.
Because I think when we calculated this, it does not make sense in a
No.
lot of ways. It's a big risk.
Every day is every challenge is a reminder that we cannot do this on our own strength.
Yes, and I think God has taken us through a journey of looking at how the enemy uses certain tools like money and food comforts, and then self-talk as a lot of ways to really attack and go after people. So faith, I think going after something this big also allows us not to take the credit for it, because the connection, everyday provisions, and the things that have been amazingly accomplished are beyond us. I was never into agriculture. I actually didn't have a green thumb. When we did our garden in the US, it was like low maintenance plants and got rid of as much as we can. And so coming here, starting a farm, for me was a huge learning process and a leap of faith.
A leap of faith, yeah. Completely out of both of our wheelhouse. I dabbled in plants at home. He never watered any of it. And they lived. And now we're full on farmers.
Yeah. Farmers, I've learned a lot about soil development and science and nitrates and nitrogen cycles, and then gotten to the point where I actually can dabble around and innovate around it. So that is a question that this person also asked. How are you measuring the aquaponic system with various important levels, and how challenging might it be to automate both and monitoring and amending the processes? Pretty cool that we have Aaron, who shout outs to Aaron at Renewable Farms in the California. He's got a couple farms. He's been a great resource in the beginning. Like, we asked him a bunch of questions like almost every other day, every week.
Aaron's our consultant. He's our aquaponic Yoda.
So we made tons of mistakes.
We're still making mistakes.
And we're still making mistakes, and we learn from them all the time. And I don't think that's going to stop in farming. I think the beauty of farming is if you like to tinker and think, it allows you to be the problem solver. So it's been an up and down process, but there's a lot of hope in it. And you actually get to see God's presence in how things are, because when he says we are allowed to seed and water, but who knows why the plants grow. I see a lot of that. You look at me kind of funny.
No. So to sum it up, is it challenging? It's very challenging.
It's been awesome. A lot of people are way ahead of us as far as the aquaponic systems. Ours is just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And the way that we've done ours is just a little bit more simplified. We don't have a big greenhouse, so we have to treat bugs and pests. We don't have grow lights. Aaron has helped us minimize our aquaponic system, be as close as a pure natural system as possible.
Yeah.
So that's been good.
Shout outs to YouTube and Google University.
And Aaron.
Yeah.
Next question is
from a friend of ours. How do you all do this while also working? That was probably for like
Kayvon. Shout outs to Kayvon. He, at about the same time we made the move, he made a move to a whole different country. I think he understands the scope of our social media content and our work and our kids. I guess the way that we can answer that is just we have a team behind us.
We have help. One of the biggest, one of the kind of the positive things that this life brings is that we do have like household help. Poland has a team. I specifically take that role of taking the kids to their extracurricular activities. Poland definitely dives into more of the work, the farm, and all the things. And so we play certain roles right now for the season. And so do we hit the mark all the time? No. But there's a lot of grace that we hope to give one another.
So divide and conquer. Cheryl does a lot. Most of the stuff for the kids and just kind of keeping track with stuff of our just living and with the household stuff. And then she's also designing a lot of the farm and monitoring a lot of the managing the plant. So I take care of the media team, the work. So there's media team, construction team, farm team, and then making sure that we're getting out there, getting exposed to the local government, farmers, out there with the people, and then making sure we stay in contact with people in the US. So that is teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Sarah's got a couple of questions here.
It says, what are some of the mistakes, if any, there's plenty, made that have taught you the biggest lesson?
And then the next question is, what are the first steps if someone wants to start their own social enterprise like yourself? So we'll talk about the lessons, so that might help with the social enterprise. I think one of my biggest lessons, so I'll go first, is strengthening your core values. And I think that's one thing that we are glad we had a core value that was strong, because it was and is tested doing something like we're doing.
So the anchor and that solid foundation, at least we were able to kind of find our way back every time things got really hard or difficult.
So the mistake that we did was like, we didn't give it a lot of attention or like ask those questions beforehand. We kind of just trusted it, but it worked out. But I feel like it could have gone more gracefully if we had known.
Poland's the type that could, risk it all. Basically, this guy can sell ice to an Eskimo, and at times I can just go in with the wind and like get caught up in kind of the fantasies. So there's lessons behind that where I think, I should have probably stood my ground with a few things and then kind of had more conversations. And
so I guess that goes into kind of starting your own social enterprise, like where to even start with that. I've had a lot of experience in business, and then I was a part of a lot of nonprofits. Shout out to Brad for allowing me to join that world. And so not only being a part of the board, but serving a nonprofit, and then just being around a lot of really innovative, really caring and passionate people around that was great as a learning experience. So the first step is to know that, one, majority of businesses don't work out, and why they don't work out. A lot of them are underfunded. A lot of them are based off of an idea that they don't navigate the changes well. So knowing that, and then social, making it even more heartfelt and having a social bent is even another layer of dynamic. So social enterprises are not for the faint of heart. Businesses aren't for the faint of heart, and then creating the complexity of a social enterprise where you actually have to have consideration of the people. And I'll give you an example of that is sometimes we're working at a place where we want to hire locally, but a lot of the skill set are not here locally because we're in the province. And so we're trying to build a global brand. So there's a global experience and cultural experience that we have that locals might not. Of course they don't have. They're localized here, but they understand the local market and they understand the local people.
We have local knowledge.
Local knowledge, really important piece of pie. So when you're creating a global social enterprise, there's a lot of different pieces of pies. So having that expanse and difference of local and global, we call it glocal, has been a huge challenge as a social enterprise to care for the local instead of sourcing everything out, which is a temptation of like, it's easier just to source this out. It's easier just to get somebody who knows this stuff, but be able to train and bring up local people is really important.
I mean, that's part of the social aspect of a social enterprise. Really is to empower kind of the circle or like, the community.
Yeah, and if it was that easy or if there was roadways to do that already, then they would have taken advantage of that. So a lot of it is trailblazing and building and reconstructing new systems in where you're investing into. So
Poland can go on and on and on and on and on and about this, Sarah. So hopefully that can help, because it sounds like you have the heart to start something new, and we wish you luck with that.
Sarah Exton. Okay. Oh, she had another question.
Okay. How big is the team behind the pursuit of coconuts now, and how many were there at the beginning?
So at the very, very beginning, besides Cheryl and I, it was me and Bon Rex. And I'll tell you what is...
who he calls his Sherpa. Basically, he's our local guide. Poland needed someone who who speaks the language, understands the people,
The terrain, the
terrain,
resources, how things work here.
And he is a firecracker. We can't.
He's a perfect balance. Like, talk about a godsend. Like, I'm the serious one. He's the light one. He's like
super funny.
He's super funny, fun, dancing, singing, and I'm the one that's sitting in the corner with the beer in my hand. Like, it's a great balance. So we started off with just him and I. Now, at that time, I did have an advisory board, and there was about 5 people, a few from the Philippines and a few from the United States that just tracked with me and just checked in and kind of checked in on plans, see what was going on, giving me advice, just to kind of make sure I didn't go crazy. But it started off with 2, and we did everything. We filmed ourselves, went out, talked to people, learned stuff. And now we've grown to a media team of about 6 people. We've got 3 guys right here shooting right now, and they take care of video, editing. Melissa came all the way from the United States, so shout out to her to help us with our progress. We've had a couple of great people that were moved for bigger opportunities from themselves that we couldn't blame them, but that hurt us a bit. And then at the farm, we've gotten anywhere from, right now currently we have about 8 full-time, but it fluctuates. We had up to 20 people. That's when construction was going full bore. So once we finished the farm, we downsized on that. And so we're anywhere from 15 people to 25 people on the Pursuit of Coconuts team. Okay, so Cheryl wants to do one at a time.
What was the biggest adjustment when it came to moving to the Philippines? Learning how things move so slowly on the island.
Yes.
It was funny. We, moved. Paula and I had a list of things to do. We were going to set up a bank account. We were going to go grocery shopping. We were going to look into getting a car. And we thought we could do 3 to 4 of our tasks
in one day.
Mind you, we live about 35 minutes away from the city. So, we're trying to maximize our time in the city when we can. And all we did was one thing, and that was literally setting up our bank account.
So check this out. You go to the bank. It takes all day just to even see somebody, give them the paperwork. And then you have to go back to get your account information. And then once you get your card, you have to go activate your card. And then once you activate your card, you have to get it approved
We're trying to get people to move here, so let's not scare them too much, please. But yes, it's an island. We live on an island, and it's island time at its best. So that's probably the biggest adjustment for us.
Yeah, it's a blessing at the same time. Like, if you go, blessing and curse, you go to the grocery store, you stand in line, and there's 3 people in front of you. You would think that it would take 5 minutes each person. It takes about 25 minutes each person. So for 4 people in front of you, it's an hour in line before you check out. And I was not used to that. I would be sitting in the car waiting for Cheryl, and she'll go, there's 3 people in front of me. I'm like, okay, cool. And I call it 15 minutes back, and I'm like, are you almost there? She's like, nope.
It's social hour at all times in the Philippines, y'all. At the grocery store, I mean, I've had to bite my tongue a few times just because, they like to socialize. They're talking, and I wish they would just be bagging up my groceries, but they're talking to one another. So it's island time. I mean, we moved to the island, so there we are.
We're gonna try to answer these a little faster. I feel like we haven't been able to talk to people in a long time, so we're like giving over explanation. So we're gonna hit this up a little faster.
Okay, it says, have you found other homeschooling families there? There are a few. I have actually one of Penelope's ballet friend is actually homeschooled, and her mom and I are planning on getting together. But for the most part, you'll find a lot more homeschoolers in Manila and in Cebu, kind of in the metropolitan area.
So quick answer to that is less than 5 people.
No,
less than a handful. Over here in the Bohol?
There's a lot. There's more. There's
that you have met?
No, not met. But
less than a handful.
Yes.
So.
All right. She also says, do you raise your animals for butcher, and are the kids involved in that process? So we have currently 2 pigs because Poland just cooked one, and 5 goats.
5 goats. So yes, we do raise our animals to butcher and eat. And yes, the kids are involved.
The kids are involved, yes. As far as a butcher, there's not like a butcher, so to say. All the guys on the farm are butchers. So actually the kids, yes, are there. They witness it.
They eat it.
So yes, they're involved.
They help prepare it to cook. So yes.
And do you have dual citizenship? Yes, I do. Since I was Filipino born here, both my parents are Filipino. I was born in Cebu, moved to the States when I was 4. I did get my dual citizenship, and because through me, the kids as well received their dual citizenship. Oh, our friend Jana, who also has kind of moved her family around. She asked if we have close family friends here.
She's hilarious. Go check her out.
And has the move been good for the kids? Do you ever regret moving? Great questions, Jenna. I do have really close family here. My parents live here, and I have a really big group of cousins and aunts and uncles.
And nephews.
Plenty
and
of,
nieces.
like, I don't even know what generation we're in right now, but quite a few. So lots of family here. Has the move been good for the kids? I can say absolutely.
And I do want to say this for sure. One of the values that we had for our kids that we wanted to make sure that they had was a safe challenging at a younger age. We didn't want them to be sheltered to what the world has to offer. And so we knew that if we could move at a younger age, because if it was
they were a little
older, we wouldn't have made this move. So we wanted to make sure that the move was a challenge for them, and it sure was. At times I look back and I thought I messed up a lot. I mean, Penelope for the first 3 months would cry herself to sleep every other night, and that was really challenging for a dad to look at and say, what did I do to my daughter? And now for her to be able to navigate her emotions and navigate life, we've seen a huge maturity in them when they're with their peers. So that has been, I feel like, a gift to navigate life a little bit more and be exposed to more. So it definitely has been awesome.
I want to add a little more about the kids.
Yeah.
I feel like the kids have grown a newfound perspective, and island life has given us the time to walk alongside with the kids and process kind of the challenges. And although they miss their friends and their life in the States, they're being exposed to something completely different that's only going to enhance their life if they were to move back, or if they were, if they were to move back to the States.
And that's the beauty about it, is we've exposed them and they still have the opportunity to go to the things that they are familiar with or expand from where they're at. So.
All right, we're gonna go through some wild ones a bit.
Okay.
It said, did they clear a forest? Where did the habitats go?
Are you proud of wiping out a forest?
Are you proud of wiping out a forest?
Wiped out a forest with a tear. No, we did not wipe out a forest. So most of Bohol's forests have been wiped out way before we got here. We are actually in a neighborhood called Tigbao in Lubbock, and there are homes that surround us. There were trees, and the whole place is green, so people would think it's a forest.
They're more bush.
They're more bushy. So we cut down very few trees, and we've planted more than we've cut down.
So we're in the process right now of trying to reforest the area with endemic trees, with fruit trees. So yes, it may look like we wiped the forest
area out
because it was all green. And thankfully, we didn't, and we did keep all the trees that were older, bigger, who've been there for so long, are still there.
Yes.
And
there was a lot of dead trees also because a big typhoon hit beforehand, right before we got here. So cleared out.
So things were even already.
Yeah, and so we trimmed a bunch of stuff back too, because it's dangerous to have 20-something typhoons here in the Philippines without cleaning it up. So we did clean up an area. No, we did not wipe out a forest. Okay.
It says, what has been the most unexpected event so far for the business or family?
I think there's been so many unexpected that it doesn't surprise us anymore. So I don't know how to answer that.
No, it will always surprise us. On a happy note, for me, unexpected events are like all the visitors that we've had so far. And we've only been here for 2 years. And that's super fun and joyful. And I'm so happy to share that. We've had friends come, for the first 6 months, I had two of my really close girlfriends here. And
They stayed a couple, like one of them stayed for a month at a time.
Jen stayed for 2 months with her son. And then families, I mean, my cousin Hannah just came.
And when my brother came,
and his brother,
he doesn't travel a lot overseas.
Yeah.
So it was one of his first experience besides Cambodia. And he loved it so much, he said he's going to come back every year. So that was unexpected for me because I was hoping, you can only hope for that, but for them to experience it and then really fall in love with it like we did, means a lot. So that's awesome.
That was a fun and unexpected event. And of course, you know, the event with our friend Brad, who visited us and had kind of a freak accident where he fell off the mountain. But that's for another day.
Check out one of the episodes. Check out Virgin Coconut Oil. You'll hear his story.
Okay, half Filipina. Oh, this is Sarah again, but only started learning Tagalog. How important is it to be fluent before beginning? It's gonna really help you. For Poland, Boniek helps with that, where he's able to speak, and it kind of moves things along faster, I guess.
So it depends on what end you're on. I would say yes, if you can speak, it connects you a lot faster because people appreciate that. Is it necessary? I've seen people live here for a very long time without speaking it because a lot of people do speak English here. So is it necessary? Not 100%. Is it best you do? Yes, 1,000%.
It says, how can we ordinary citizens help the farmers?
I can look at this.
Oh, there's a couple of people that have asked.
Yeah, how can we ordinary folks support farmers? So the great way, I think in general, around the world that you can support farmers is support your local farmer. Like meaning,
I was like, expand.
Buy from farmers market if you have those around. Get to know and spend that time to know where your food really comes from.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things.
Track with it.
Yeah, and I understand that some areas might not be that easy to track the food, but if you spend that time to find local food, that helps tremendously. I know in the US, there's 5 corporations that control like 90% of the food in the supermarket, or 80% of the food in the supermarket, but a large portion. So farmer markets are getting more important. Local food is getting more important. Less processed food. And that's another one is if you just naturally start to buy more natural foods, you're gonna move to find where it comes from.
Yeah, back to basics, really. Back to basics. And it is gonna require you to kind of slow down and really be intentional. It's not easy in first world or developing countries just because we've been accustomed and conditioned for that. I mean, that was a big adjustment for us, you know. For the most part, we probably cook more at home here than we did in the States.
Oh.
Hands down, because of the fact that one, we like to kind of a variety, and two, like all the things that we do enjoy are a lot more expensive here. But it allows us to slow down. It allows us to really take part in our food and how we prepare it.
And also, I would say seasonal food is very important.
Yes.
Because if you buy seasonal food, the seasonal food aren't things that are stored like apples, lemons, and stuff like that. They can last in your fridge for so long, so transportation. So when you're buying seasonal food, even strawberries, try to buy them from your local fruit stands. So when you see those farmers markets, I would just say that's a great place to start. And then just start having conversations about your food. Where did this come from? That is probably where you should start. You can go down a rabbit hole, watch documentaries, learn all that stuff. But I would just say slow down on your food and enjoy the seasonal food because that really helps you understand what's local around you.
One of the things that I think about, like I want to, you know, be sustainable and be more responsible, and you think like you have to change your whole lifestyle, but really it's just kind of changing the small things.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, because those small things then trickle into the next small thing, and then it just, you know, you continue, and next thing you know, really changed your lifestyle in a really, really big way and have made an impact. You know, we're only one family, but at least like I know that we're teaching our kids so that they can teach their kids. And it really is, it starts at home and it starts kind of with you.
I even thought of another one right now. Even start composting.
Yeah.
Because when you start composting, you realize how much waste you have. So when you realize how much waste you have and how fast things get thrown away, you start to be more selective of what you buy, which slows you down. So Cheryl's right, slower food. Seasonal is slower because you're just not in demand all the time. You actually have to wait for that season to come. You actually enjoy it more when the season's there. So slow down just a little bit, and that'll change a lot. So a couple people have asked.
Business is the business stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're trying to get investors, but how have you funded the $300,000 so far?
You keep track of profits and loss on every vlog post, but how is your organization being funded at the moment? So we have sacrificed and risked our own because we believe in it so much, and we put our money where our mouth is. So we were blessed enough to have a business in the States that kind of set us up. And so we moved our lives here, and so did our investors.
It was personally funded.
Yeah.
that's the answer.
Now we need investors.
We get this a lot. I mean, through DMs, through
Messages.
emails. I mean, all platforms. Can you visit our farm? We have allowed mostly our friends and family to visit. We've allowed local farmers to visit.
Local government officials.
Local government officials. We had like a soft opening just to kind of let the community know that we're around and we're here to stay. As for kind of the public, we are not there yet. We don't have the infrastructure. It's still currently
Under
in
construction.
So it's not completely safe for everyone to come. But we are working on a really cool project, which is the farm to table experience at Isla Eden, where we'll be able to, tour people, check out the farm, see the farm, and then experience the farm through their senses. And so that is to come. That is the phase that we're working on right now, which is super, super exciting, as well as creating some products. But hopefully our investors get on board, and they will. And we'll just have to kind of wait for God's time, really.
And if you're looking to invest into an amazing project that's going to be a
it.
global brand,
Plug it in.
but also help hundreds of lives
Hundreds, that's it.
locally and millions of lives around the world.
We're just out here answering a calling and just trying to be obedient in the process, not kill each other, but love each other.
I always wanted to think big, and I realized after being here, just the people around me, if I can help them, it would have been worth it. So we're here putting in the work, seeing where it goes, and it's been amazing so far, but we'd love to expand.
Here's some hard questions. Most likely Poland's gonna be answering. Hey man, be careful of speaking out loud against corruption. It can go bad.
Yeah, Ashley. And he's right. And so I do pull back on what I talk about corruption. What I am able to say about corruption is that it's a part of the system.
It's systemic.
So it's creating new system, and you have to kind of pave the new system. So I believe that farming is not going to be led so much with huge changes in policies and government. I believe that is going to be a lot of smaller farmers that create a voice that gets to influence that. So we really want to help the local small farmers and backyard farmers, not the corporate farmers. That's going to be mostly the financially established elites already getting into farming or controlling the distribution of farming. We're looking to empower the local small farmers and the smaller shareholders of the agricultural industry. So how is it going? We're doing it, and it's going. So
Day by day.
all we need is to keep picking up momentum and more people to support.
Yeah, I mean, this I guess leads to the next one. This is Captain J. Chambers. Can you explain where the corruption is affecting agriculture? He says, also after building in the Philippines for 10 years, I actually see corruption thought of as being a daily part of life. And when I think about it, I see it as a pyramid. Everyone down the line gets a part of it.
And he writes some more, and he says, he cites some examples in construction and roads. And it's true. It is like a pyramid. So, but what he doesn't talk about, I would even say it's not even a pyramid so much. And what he means by a pyramid is there's the people at the front that take the money, and then they give it to somebody else that is their boss, and that boss is hired by a local agency that gets more money, and then there's the politicians that possibly might get it, or some other bigger entities of business people. So it is like there's a base of a lot of money going somewhere. Now, the other part of it is that base of goes back into the community, because in some areas you have to really campaign for your position, and so there's leadership changes all the time. So the part that's hard is there's not a lot of longevity in plans, because they don't know if leadership is going to change. Because when leadership changes, people's job titles and positions are not secure most of the time. So I feel like it is a part of the plan, or a part of the lifestyle, and people has accepted it. So we have to change ourselves along with those around us for bigger change. Like, I don't think, but the other thing is the Filipinos are very hierarchical respect, so they don't try to fight authority too much. They actually like instructions and giving, it coming down from the top. Whereas us Westerners, or if I'm from the States, we like to see a flat leadership style. Over here, a lot of people like to follow the directions of the leader, which is why they probably expect it to come from the top down to change. But I feel like it has to be both and to change. In such an important food insecurity, food prices, and agriculture specifically.
All right, that's it.
Yeah.
If there are any other questions that you guys have in mind,
give us any suggestions. We shall take it into consideration. Maybe we'll do a live and take questions on the fly. So maybe think of some really crazy stuff to ask us, and we'll see if we're crazy enough to answer them. But thank you guys for joining in on the Pursuit of Coconuts, our Isla Eden project. If you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out. And we can't wait to share more of it. And we are going to continue to document our journey in this pursuit of coconuts and the pursuit of building a global social enterprise.
And committed to empower younger farmers on the island.
Our mantra is people, planet, and prosperity. Take care of the people, making sure the planet is cared for at the same time, and whatever profits and prosperity comes out of the business goes back into building the community that we're a part of, locally here and globally, especially back in Cali.
All right, wrap it up, baby. Wrap it up, wrap it up.
I'm trying to sell them. All right, guys. We'll see you
right,
guys.
thank you, guys.
Let us know in the comments.
Hopefully we answered all the important questions that you guys have been wondering about.
All right. Thank you to the guys behind the cameras too.